As winter descended upon the quaint town of Williston, its once vibrant streets grew colder by the day. The diminishing sunshine cast long shadows, and an icy wind permeated the air, sending shivers down the spines of those who ventured outside. In a hurry to escape the biting chill, people rushed from their workplaces or completed their errands wearing thick mufflers, snug hats, gloves, and layers of warm clothing. The local schools, recognizing the onset of winter, had closed their doors for the much-anticipated winter holidays. With educational institutions temporarily shuttered, the town took on a quieter demeanor as families and residents retreated to the warmth and comfort of their homes. The bitter cold outside made staying indoors an attractive prospect for everyone. However, amidst the holiday cheer and cosy gatherings, the plight of the less fortunate weighed heavily on the hearts of the townspeople. The frigid temperatures posed a particularly harsh challenge for the poor and homeless, who found themselves in dire straits with limited means of protection against the winter's unforgiving grasp. On a chilly winter evening, James, a kind-hearted but impoverished man, noticed a woman shivering on a park bench. From his observations, he deduced that she was homeless, lacking a space to seek refuge. The homeless woman appeared to be in her mid-40s, and by her appearance she looked as if she was a well-off woman, as she had a proper winter attire on. However, her face bore the traces of a difficult life, marked by lines etched from experiences beyond her control. There was a quiet dignity in her eyes, reflecting both resilience and vulnerability. As she sat on the park bench, shivering against the winter chill, her sad face seems to tell a silent story of struggle and endurance. James was a simple man whose world was confined to the pages of tattered notebooks and the solace of dimly lit libraries. James was a writer, a dreamer whose pockets were perennially empty, yet his heart overflowed with empathy. Despite his financial struggles, James found purpose in helping those who were even less fortunate than him. The town's homeless community became his extended family, and every evening he ventured into the streets armed with words of kindness and compassion. His pen may have been his only asset, but it wielded a power that transcended the limitations of his meagre existence. James knew the stories of the streets intimately, the faces weathered by hardships, the dreams overshadowed by despair. With a notebook in hand, he listened to the tales of the homeless, capturing their voices in prose that echoed with authenticity. In the cold of winter, he shared the warmth of his words, offering solace and camaraderie to those who had been left out in the bitter chill. When asked why he dedicated himself to helping the homeless, he would reply, "We're all stories in the making. I may not have much, but words cost nothing, and they can bring warmth to even the coldest hearts." Despite having very little for himself, he distributed blankets during a bitter winter night. James shared, "Sometimes all it takes is a small gesture to remind someone that they matter. We're all chapters in each other's stories." His interactions with the homeless were marked by genuine conversations and a deep understanding of their struggles. "It's not just about giving them something tangible," he explained. "It's about acknowledging their humanity, reminding them that their stories are worth hearing." James, though poor in material wealth, possessed a wealth of compassion that spilled onto the pages of his notebooks and into the lives of those he touched. "In a town that often forgets its most vulnerable," he reflected, "I want to be a voice that says, 'You are not alone.'" As the town slept under the blanket of night, James sat with a group of homeless individuals sharing stories and laughter. The warmth of their makeshift gathering contrasted starkly with the cold reality of their surroundings. His simple act of compassion not only provided physical comfort, but also kindled a spark of hope in the hearts of those who had felt forgotten by society. Therefore, when James saw the woman shivering in the cold, he could not resist himself and offered her food to eat. Filled with empathy, he approached her. "Excuse me, are you okay?" "You look really cold," asked James. The homeless woman, who introduced herself as Emma, managed a weak smile and replied, "I've been feeling better, but the cold is getting to me." Noticing her plight, James reached into his bag and pulled out a thermos and some food. James did not have much, but he decided to share his soup and sandwich. Emma, genuinely surprised by the gesture, hesitated for a moment before accepting the food. She was touched by the unexpected generosity and warmed her hands around the thermos. Later, after sharing heartfelt conversations, he was more determined to help her. As they sat on the park bench, James turned to Emma and said, "No one should have to suffer like this. Let me help you, Emma. You deserve warmth, comfort, and a chance to rebuild your life." He offered her to stay with him at the shelter. As they shared the simple meal, a genuine connection formed between James and Emma. Two individuals brought together by compassion on a chilly winter evening. Seated side by side on the park bench, James and Emma found solace in opening up and exchanging their life stories. Emma, with a mixture of vulnerability and strength, recounted the hardships that had led her to her homelessness, the unexpected loss of her job and home. Her narrative carried the weight of unforeseen circumstances that had turned her life upside down. "It all happened so quickly. One moment I had a job and a place to call home, and the next it was all gone." James, with a nod of understanding, then shared his struggles. He described the challenges of barely making ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck, and the constant battle to stay afloat in a world that often seemed indifferent to his hardships. He empathized. "I know what it's like to feel like you're hanging on by a thread. Every month is a struggle, and sometimes it feels like no one sees the effort you put in." Emma grew up in the small town of Williston with her parents. As a child, she had sparkling eyes that reflected innocence, and her laughter could brighten even the gloomiest of days. Emma's parents, Emily and David, were a couple whose love seems to defy the ordinary. Emily possessed an air of gentle grace with warm hazel eyes that sparkled with kindness. Her laughter was a melody that could lighten the darkest moments, and she had a nurturing spirit that extended beyond her own family. David, on the other hand, was a pillar of strength with a rugged charm. His deep voice resonated with authority, but his eyes softened whenever he looked at Emily and Emma. Their love was not without its challenges, but it was a resilient flame that withstood the winds of adversity. In the warmth of their embrace, Emma found a sense of security that made her believe in the magic of love. The three of them formed a tight-knit family, a unit that faced the world together with unwavering support. In the cosy living room of their home, the family of three often gathered for heartfelt conversations. Emily, with a playful smile, teased David about his attempts at cooking. Emily suggested, "Maybe we should stick to my delicious spaghetti, don't you think, David?" David, feigned innocence, responded with a grin. "Well, my attempts at gourmet cuisine might not be masterpieces, but they are made with love." During family game nights, laughter echoed through the house as they played board games and shared playful banter. Emma, giggling, "Mum, Dad, you're cheating! You can't team up against me like this!" David, feigned innocence, would reply, "Who, us? Never! We're just a dynamic duo." As Emma grew older, her parents became her confidants, guiding her during her tumultuous teenage years. Their shared laughter echoed through the walls of their home, creating a sanctuary where Emma felt safe and loved. They instilled in her the values of kindness, resilience, and the importance of finding beauty amid life's challenges. In quiet moments such as family dinners or cozy evenings by the fireplace, the love between Emily and David was often expressed through unspoken gestures and tender glances. Their home was filled not only with laughter and conversations, but also with the warmth that radiated from a bond rooted in love and mutual respect. However, Emma's world was turned upside down when, at the age of 14, she lost her parents in a tragic accident. The accident not only claimed their lives but also shattered the sense of security and belonging that Emma had always taken for granted. The days that followed were a blur of condolences, tearful eyes, and whispered condolences. She found herself surrounded by well-meaning relatives who tried their best to provide comfort, but nothing could fill the void left by the absence of her parents. The once vibrant and lively household became silent, haunted by memories of laughter that would never grace its walls again. In the wake of the profound loss that shook Emma's world, her aunt and uncle stepped in with unwavering love and support, becoming the sturdy pillars upon which she could lean. Graciously welcoming her into their home, they endeavoured to provide not only physical shelter but also emotional comfort during the challenging landscape of grief. Emma's aunt, with a compassionate demeanor, spoke to her tenderly. "Sweetheart, we know this is a difficult time for you. We want you to feel safe and loved here. Lean on us whenever you need to." Her uncle, a pillar of strength, added, "Your parents may be gone, but you're not alone. We're here to be your family and to help you find your way through this darkness." They created an environment filled with warmth, stability, and a semblance of normalcy amidst the storm. Yet, despite their best efforts, Emma couldn't shake off the lingering ache in her heart. The emptiness left by her parents' absence was a void no amount of love and support could fill. As Emma navigated the halls of her school, her aunt and uncle became fervent advocates in her pursuit of both refuge and healing. Her aunt, in an attempt to ease the pain, said, "Emma, darling, school can be a place of solace for you. Make friends, immerse yourself in your studies, let the routine bring you some comfort." Her uncle, recognizing the challenges she faced in the school environment, assured her, "We understand that it's not easy, dear. Your parents would be proud of the strength you're showing. Lean on us, and remember, you have a family here that loves you." Every school event, from parent-teacher conferences to holiday celebrations, served as a poignant reminder of the irreplaceable void left by her parents. Emma's aunt and uncle, aware of this, tried to bridge the gap in their ways. During parent-teacher conferences, her aunt attended with a reassuring smile, assuring Emma, "We're here to support you in your education, just like your parents would have been." Through these moments, Emma's aunt and uncle became not just caregivers, but compassionate guides, navigating the delicate balance of filling the void left by her parents while allowing Emma the space to grieve and heal in her own time. Their spoken words, filled with love and understanding, echoed in the corners of her heart, providing solace amid the profound loss she carried. Emma's solace emerged in unexpected places. She discovered a love for reading, finding companionship in the characters of her favourite books. The local library became her sanctuary, a place where the stories could temporarily transport her away from the harsh reality she faced. Later on, she learned to channel her grief into creative outlets. She began to paint and write, using art as a means of expression when words failed her. The canvases and notebooks became a tapestry of her emotions, a visual and written testament to the journey of healing she was on. As Emma navigated the tumultuous currents of life, the pain of losing her parents never truly faded. Yet within that enduring ache, she discovered a wellspring of resilience. The memories of the love and laughter shared with her parents became a source of strength, a testament to the indomitable spirit that lay within her. Years later, as Emma matured and carved her path, she decided to move to the city, securing a job at an advertising firm. The bustling urban landscape provided a new chapter in her life where she could redefine herself and build a future independent of the shadows of the past. However, life took an unexpected turn when, after 5 years in the city, Emma received a call from her aunt and uncle. Their announcement of moving to another country weighed heavily on Emma's heart. They were the last remnants of her family, and the impending distance left her feeling a profound sadness. Her aunt, sensing Emma's emotions, spoke with a comforting tone. "Emma, dear, life has its twists and turns. We'll always cherish the memories we've made together. Remember, family isn't just about proximity. It's about the love that transcends any distance." As the years unfolded, circumstances took an unforeseen downturn for Emma. A sudden job loss left her grappling with uncertainty, prompting her to reach out to her aunt and uncle for solace. However, to her dismay, they were unreachable. In the face of such isolation, Emma decided to return to her hometown of Williston, seeking the comfort of familiar grounds. In a moment of vulnerability, she tried reaching out to her aunt and uncle once again, only to find them still beyond reach. Emma, now facing the reality of her changed circumstances, whispered to herself, "I thought I could return to a place that felt like home. But perhaps home isn't just a location. Maybe it's something we carry within us, even in the face of change." Wandering through the streets, Emma couldn't help but notice the stark changes that had taken place over the past 10 years. The once familiar faces were replaced by strangers, and the town she remembered had transformed into something unrecognizable. With no job and no place to stay, Emma roamed the streets, grappling with the harsh reality of her situation. In her search for employment, Emma found herself facing rejection after rejection. Nights became a struggle as she resorted to sleeping in parks or seeking refuge near closed shops. Desperation led her to reach out to old friends, but they had scattered to different places, offering empathy over the phone but little tangible support. Emma worked diligently as an advertising executive for a prestigious advertising firm. She was known for her creativity, dedication, and unwavering commitment to her job. Little did she know that her world was about to be turned upside down by her cunning boss, Mrs. Harrington. Mrs. Harrington, a shrewd and ambitious woman, had her eyes set on a promotion. She saw Emma as a threat to her advancement within the company due to her stellar performance and growing influence. Determined to eliminate any competition, she hatched a devious plan to tarnish Emma's reputation. One day, Mrs. Harrington assigned Emma a critical project, knowing that its success could lead to her promotion. However, she intentionally withheld crucial information and resources, setting her up for failure. As the project deadline loomed, Emma struggled to meet expectations and her stress levels skyrocketed. Unbeknownst to Emma, Arthur, the assistant of her boss, also played a role in the orchestrated downfall. Exploiting Emma's perceived failure, Arthur manipulated the narrative presented to the higher-ups, portraying Emma as incompetent and unreliable. As the project inevitably fell short of expectation, Mrs. Harrington wasted no time in presenting the situation to the senior management, conveniently omitting any mention of her assistant's involvement in the debacle. On the other hand, Mrs. Harrington called Emma. With a concerned voice, she asked, "Emma, I just heard about the project. What happened?" Emma, genuinely perplexed, explained the challenges she faced. Mrs. Harrington, feigning concern, assured her, "Let me talk to the executives. I'm sure we can sort this out." Emma, completely unaware of the conniving duo's schemes, was called into a meeting with the executives. Mrs. Harrington spoke first. "Emma, please have a seat. We need to discuss the recent project." Emma, unsuspecting, took a seat, ready to discuss the project she had worked tirelessly on.
"Emma, the outcome of the project has been disappointing, to say the least. We expected better results,"
one of the executives implied. Emma, puzzled, asked, "I did my best with the resources provided. What went wrong?" Feigning concern, the executives expressed to Emma that there were evident problems with her management and execution. Growing uneasy, Emma defended herself, stating that she hadn't been provided with all the necessary information and support. She emphasized that she had done her best with the resources available. She was even more shocked when the group of executives decided to terminate her. Emma, shocked and hurt, stammered, "Terminate? But I dedicated years to this company." The other executive replied,
I'm sorry, Emma, but we have to think about the company's image and success. This decision is final.
As Emma left the meeting room, the weight of the unjust accusation sank in. She felt betrayed and helpless. Alone in her now empty office, she received a message from Mrs. Harrington. I'm so sorry, Emma. I tried to defend you, but the exec just thinks that it was your lack of responsibility that led to the failure. As Emma packed her belongings in a state of disbelief, Mrs. Harrington watched from her office with a satisfied grin. Emma grappled with the consequences of her sudden dismissal, and the duo continued the manipulative games behind closed doors, satisfied with the success of their plan. Without a job to sustain her, Emma soon faced the harsh reality of being unable to keep up with her mortgage payments. She stayed home devastated and jobless for a few days. During her silent struggle, a hesitant knock on the door pierced the heavy air. Emma looked up to find her landlord standing at the entrance, an uneasy expression etched on his face.
Emma, I hate to do this, but we've noticed you're behind on your rent. I'm afraid I have to ask you to leave.
Emma's heart sank and the reality of her dire situation intensified. The house, once a comfortable and safe space, now echoed with the harsh demands of reality. She gathered the last of her belongings, the weight of uncertainty and homelessness pressing heavily on her shoulders, as she faced the daunting prospect of leaving the place she had called home. In those moments of sharing the story, a profound connection blossomed between James and Emma. Their mutual understanding of pain, invisibility, and the struggles faced by those on the margins of society created a bond that surpassed the boundaries of their current circumstances. The park bench, usually a cold and lonely place, became a space where two souls found comfort in the warmth of shared experiences and the realization that, despite the challenges, they were not alone in their journey. Touched by his gestures, Emma said, her voice filled with gratitude, "James, you have a heart of gold. Your kindness is a ray of light in the darkness. Thank you for seeing me, for offering me a glimmer of hope when I needed it most." Over that week, he provided her with food, water, and other necessities. James and Emma's bond grew stronger with each passing day. They spent their time together sharing meals, engaging in heartfelt conversations, and discovering more about each other's lives. As they cooked meals together, they found solace in the simple act of preparing food. They laughed and exchanged stories, finding joy in the shared experience of nourishing their bodies and souls. Through these moments, they developed a rhythm, a synchronicity that spoke volumes about their compatibility. As they shared meal, James spoke softly.
Emma, I've realized that true wealth isn't measured in money or possessions. It lies in the connections we make and the impact we have on each other's lives.
Emma smiled, her eyes shining with appreciation. James, your selflessness and compassion have shown me that there is still goodness in this world. You've given me more than a warm meal. You've given me a renewed sense of hope and the belief that kindness can change lives. Their conversations delved into deeper topics, exploring their hopes and dreams and fears. James shared his passion for writing and his desire to make a positive impact on the world through his words. Emma, on the other hand, revealed her love for music and her longing to find stability and purpose in her life once again. These intimate conversations created a safe space for vulnerability, allowing James and Emma to open up about their past traumas and emotional wounds. They found solace in each other's understanding, offering a listening ear and a shoulder to lean on. Through their shared experiences, they realized that they were not alone in their struggles, finding strength in their mutual support. As the week progressed, James and Emma discovered shared interests and hobbies. They explored the town together, visiting local parks, museums, and cafes. In these moments, they found joy in each other's company, reveling in the simple pleasures of laughter and shared experiences. Their bond was further solidified through acts of kindness. James would surprise Emma with small gifts like a warm scarf or a book he knew she would enjoy. Emma, in return, would leave little notes of gratitude and encouragement for James, reminding him of his worth and talent. This bond was, however, of a pure friendship. The trust between them grew exponentially as they confided in each other their deepest fears and insecurities. They became each other's confidants, offering unwavering support and guidance. They shared their dreams and aspirations, inspiring each other to reach for the stars. By the end of the week, James and Emma were well acquainted with each other. They had formed an unbreakable bond built on trust, compassion, and shared experiences. They had seen each other at their most vulnerable. Instead of judgment, they found acceptance and understanding. James made his regular visits to the streets, carrying blankets and warm meals to share with the homeless community he had come to know so well. On the 8th day, as he approached the familiar alley, he was taken aback by an unexpected sight. There, amidst the makeshift gathering, was Emma, the woman he had been assisting, engaged in an animated conversation with none other than Mr. Thompson, the city's most prominent businessman. Confusion and doubt filled James's mind as he observed the unlikely pair. Emma, clad in worn-out clothes, seemed an unlikely companion for Mr. Thompson, whose finely tailored suit and polished demeanor spoke of a stark contrast to her current circumstances. Feeling a mix of emotions, James approached the duo with hesitation. James called out,
Emma? Mr. Thompson?
Emma looked up, her eyes reflecting surprise and warmth. "James! I didn't expect to see you here." She quickly introduced him to Mr. Thompson. "James, this is my childhood friend, John." You may have heard of him as Mr. Thompson. Life took us on different paths, but he recognized me and insisted on catching up. James nodded politely, trying to conceal his bewilderment. He couldn't fathom how Emma, who had been living on the streets, had reconnected with someone of Mr. Thompson's stature. Doubts about Emma's authenticity and intentions began to cloud his mind. Sensing James's unease, John spoke up, his voice filled with sincerity.
James, I know this might come as a surprise, but Emma and I grew up together. We lost touch over the years, but fate brought us back together as we bumped into each other at a park nearby.
John added,
Emma here is quite the storyteller. She shared how you've been helping the homeless community. It's impressive.
In the ensuing conversation, Emma revealed that her current circumstances were the results of a series of unfortunate events, but she had found solace in the camaraderie of the streets. Emma was about 10 years old when one sunny day, while playing in the local park, she stumbled upon a boy named John. "Hi there, I'm John," the boy exclaimed, extending his hand towards Emma. Emma, with her bright blue eyes shining, eagerly shook his hand. With his charming smile and mischievous eyes, John quickly became Emma's best friend. The pair had a favourite spot, a hidden meadow filled with wildflowers and surrounded by tall, swaying grass. In this magical place they built forts, played make-believe games, and dreamed of the adventures that awaited them beyond the borders of their small town. Emma and John spent their days exploring the town, climbing trees and inventing imaginative games. They would often venture into the nearby woods, creating secret hideouts and embarking on pretend quests. Their laughter echoed through the trees as they shared stories and dreamed of a world filled with endless possibilities. They shared their hopes, dreams and fears, supporting each other through thick and thin. They were inseparable, always finding solace in each other's company. However, life had a different plan for them. Tragedy struck when Emma's parents passed away unexpectedly. Emma was left devastated, her world turned upside down. With no immediate family, she was compelled to move to another town to live with her uncle and aunt. Emma's departure left a void in John's heart. He felt lost without his best friend by his side. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, and they both got consumed in their worlds. John, known as Mr. Thompson, in the heart of a busy city, became a successful businessman. He started with a small business that grew into a big company. He was smart and a good leader, which helped him become well known in the city. One of his big achievements was starting a tech company that changed the business world. The company created new technologies that not only helped businesses but also made life better for many people. His focus on new ideas and smart plans earned him awards and respect from others in the business world. He also cared about giving back. He used a part of his success to support different projects like education, healthcare, and protecting the environment. His efforts made a real difference in the community, and he became known for being a responsible and caring leader. Even with all his success, John stayed true to his values. He made sure his company was known for being honest, diverse, and caring about the community. People who worked for him liked him not just for his business skills, but also because he was easy to talk to and cared about their well-being. John's success made him famous, with articles and invitations to speak at big events. His story inspired others who wanted to start their businesses. It showed that with hard work, good ideas, and doing things the right way, anyone could achieve great things. So from a small town to a big city, John's journey was proof that dedication, smart thinking, and always aiming for the best can lead to incredible success. "John, darling," his mother called out, "I heard Mrs. Rufford's daughter recently got engaged. I had been hoping to arrange a meeting for you two, but it seems I'm too late now."
"Mother, haven't I made it clear that I'm not interested in getting married right now?" John hinted.
"Well, it's high time you start considering it, because the clock is ticking. You are growing older by the day," she replied. In the face of his mother's gentle yet persistent insistence, John found himself immersed in contemplation about his romantic history. The women who had crossed his path appeared to be primarily attracted to his wealth and the lavish lifestyle he could offer. Each potential match seemed interchangeable, lacking the authentic qualities and sincerity he yearned for in a life partner. For John, the pursuit of love felt obscured by the ulterior motives that seemed to pervade his relationships. The concept of marriage, as advocated by his mother, resembled an assembly line of candidates more intrigued by his financial standing than by the prospect of building a genuine and meaningful connection. Despite societal expectations urging him to conform and settle down, John clung steadfastly to his desire for a love that transcended material wealth and social status. The pressure to conform to traditional norms weighed heavily on John, but he remained resolute in his pursuit of a relationship grounded in authenticity and mutual understanding. His yearning for a connection that went beyond superficial interests and financial considerations was a sentiment he earnestly hoped his mother would one day come to comprehend. All the girls in John's life seemed to be drawn to him for his wealth and luxury. To him they all appeared indistinguishable, lacking any qualities that caught his interest. Feeling a deep yearning for genuine connection and authenticity, John decided to embark on a journey back to his hometown of Williston. The bustling city life, filled with superficial relationships, left him longing for something more meaningful. In the nostalgic streets of Williston, he hoped to rediscover the simplicity and sincerity he had cherished in his childhood. As John strolled through the familiar landmarks of his past, memories of laughter and carefree days flooded back. The old oak tree, the hidden meadow, and the town square held echoes of a time when relationships were forged on shared secrets and genuine companionship. His quest for love became a pilgrimage, not just to find a partner, but to find clarity and authenticity in his own heart. Williston and its charm and familiarity seemed like the perfect place to unravel the complexities of his emotions and rediscover the kind of love that transcended the superficial connections he had grown accustomed to. As the days unfolded, John's journey through Williston became more than a physical return. It became a spiritual exploration, a quest for love that resonated with the core of his being. In the heart of his hometown, he hoped to discover a love that was genuine, sincere, and free from the constraints of societal expectations. A love that would bring clarity to his soul and rekindle the magic of authentic connection. However, it was short-lived, as John was unaware that his return to Williston brought with it an unexpected complication. His past seemed to have caught up with him in the form of his ex-girlfriend, a woman whose persistent and, at times, eccentric presence had left a mark on his memories. As he navigated the streets of his hometown in search for genuine connection, he couldn't escape the shadow of his past relationship. "John, fancy meeting you here," she exclaimed, a wide grin stretching across her face as she popped up behind the near old oak tree. John sighed, attempting to maintain composure.
"Lily, what are you doing here? I thought we agreed to go our separate ways."
"Oh, I just happened to be in town and heard you were back. Thought I'd say hello," Lily replied with an innocent twinkle in her eyes. His patience wore thin, and John tried to redirect the conversation.
"Well, I'm here for a different reason. Lily, I need some time to myself to find something real."
Trying to diplomatically disentangle himself, John responded,
"Lily, we had our moments, but I'm on a journey to find something deeper, more meaningful."
Throughout his quest for authenticity, Lily's relentless interruptions continued. Each time he visited a familiar spot, she appeared with her cheerful demeanor and barrage of anecdotes from their shared past. His crazy ex-girlfriend, with her penchant for innocent talks and childish gestures, had somehow managed to track his movements. Like an unwelcome spectre, she popped up at every corner, disrupting his quest for love with her unpredictable appearances. Her bubbly enthusiasm and relentless pursuit, which once charmed him, now grated on his nerves, creating an unintended obstacle in his search for authenticity. Despite his attempts to distance himself, she seemed determined to rekindle what was long extinguished. Her obliviousness to the change in their dynamic only intensified John's irritation. The familiar town that was meant to be a haven for self-discovery had become a stage for his ex-girlfriend's persistent theatrics. As John embarked on a journey to reconnect with his roots and find genuine love, he faced an unexpected challenge: the quirky antics of his ex-girlfriend. While seeking meaningful connections, he couldn't escape the comedic and exasperating distraction that followed him through the streets of Williston. The quest for love now involved not only discovering new connections, but also navigating the peculiar twists of his romantic history that refused to be left behind. Well, soon enough he was taken by surprise when he bumped into his childhood friend, Emma. After years of being apart, John and Emma found themselves unexpectedly reunited. The moment they laid eyes on each other, a flood of emotions washed over them, and a bond that had been buried deep within their hearts began to resurface. John, initially puzzled, gradually understood the twists of fate that had brought Emma into the realm of homelessness. He listened to her story. Emma hesitated for a moment before deciding to share her story with John. The air was filled with the distant sounds of the city, but her voice carried the weight of her past. Emma took a deep breath, her eyes reflecting a mix of vulnerability and resilience. "After we lost touch, things took an unexpected turn. I lost my job, and with the mounting bills I couldn't keep up with the rent. Eventually I found myself on the streets, struggling to make ends meet." As Emma recounted the series of events that led her to the alley where they now stood, John's eyes conveyed a growing understanding. He didn't interrupt, allowing her to share her journey. "These streets may not look like much, but I found a sense of community here. James here has been helping me. He's become a friend, a lifeline in these challenging times." John, with a genuine expression, responded,
"Emma, I had no idea you were going through all of this. I'm sorry you've had to face such hardships, but you're not alone now. We'll find a way to help you get back on your feet."
Emma's eyes welled with gratitude and empathy. John, the successful businessman, saw beyond the surface and recognized the strength within Emma. In the days that followed, John's dedication to helping Emma went far beyond mere words. He utilised his influence and resources to delve deeper into the circumstances surrounding her termination from the advertising company. Through his connections and the assistance of diligent employees, John was able to uncover the truth. It became clear that Emma's boss, Mrs. Harrington, and her assistants, Arthur, had plotted against her. As one of the core shareholders of the company, John knew that he held significant sway. The authorities recognised the importance of retaining such a valuable shareholder, and within days of receiving John's message, they swiftly terminated both Mrs. Harrington and Arthur from their positions. When the truth unravelled about Mrs. Harrington and Arthur's malicious plot to set up Emma for failure at her job, the repercussions were swift and severe. The office, once a place of camaraderie, now buzzed with tension as the unethical scheme came to light. In a meeting room, Mrs. Harrington and Arthur were confronted with the evidence of their deceitful actions. The atmosphere was thick with disappointment and disbelief as their colleagues gathered to witness the consequences of their betrayal. The company's leadership, having uncovered the deceit, addressed the perpetrators. Mrs. Harrington, a once respected figure in the office, struggled to maintain her composure. "I can't believe this," she stammered, attempting to deflect blame. "It was just a little strategy to test her capabilities. I never intended for her to lose her job." The stern response from the company's leadership was clear.
"Testing someone's capabilities is one thing, Mrs. Harrington, but sabotaging a colleague to the point of termination is unacceptable. Your actions have consequences."
Arthur, realising the severity of the situation, attempted to salvage what was left of his professional reputation. "I didn't think it would go this far. It was just a way to prove a point," he insisted, his voice laden with regret. The company's decision was swift. Mrs. Harrington and Arthur were terminated from their positions. The shock on their faces was palpable as the reality of their actions sunk in. Colleagues who had once trusted and worked alongside them now looked on with disappointment and disapproval. As they gathered their belongings and exited the office, Mrs. Harrington couldn't help but mutter, "This can't be happening. It was supposed to be harmless." Arthur, realising the gravity of the situation, turned to Mrs. Harrington with a remorseful expression. "We crossed a line, and now we have to face the consequences. I never thought it would come to this." The news of their dismissal spread throughout the office, leaving a mix of shock and relief among the colleagues who had been unknowingly caught in the web of deceit. The repercussions of Mrs. Harrington and Arthur's actions served as a stark reminder of the importance of integrity and teamwork in the professional realm. The once respected figures were now faced with the aftermath of their betrayal, and the office, though scarred, began the process of rebuilding trust and solidarity. Upon learning of her boss's betrayal, Emma felt a profound sense of shock and disbelief. She had never imagined that the person who appeared so concerned and supportive in front of her would be the one plotting her downfall. The realization left her questioning the authenticity of her previous interactions with Mrs. Harrington. Recognizing the gravity of their mistake, the company extended a heartfelt apology to Emma. They acknowledged their misjudgment of the situation and the undue trouble it had caused her. To make amends, they not only offered her a sincere apology, but also presented her with a higher position within the company. They urged her to return to her job, emphasizing their desire to rectify the situation and provide her with the recognition she deserved. Emma was taken aback by the company's response. She had not anticipated such a gesture of reconciliation and redemption. After careful consideration, she decided to accept their offer. It was a testament to her resilience and determination that she was willing to give the company another chance, believing in the possibility of a fresh start. Her experiences had taught her the importance of standing up for herself and others, and she was determined to create a more inclusive environment where everyone's talents and potential could be recognised and nurtured. As they spent time catching up and reminiscing about their shared past, John and Emma realised how much they still meant to each other. They laughed at old inside jokes, shared stories of their separate journeys, and discovered that their connection had never truly faded away. The familiarity and comfort they felt in each other's presence was undeniable. Despite John's attempt to rediscover genuine connections and find love in his hometown, the past seemed determined to cast a shadow on his present, as he spent time with Emma, a childhood friend, exploring the familiar streets of Williston. An unexpected encounter with his ex-girlfriend, Lily, threatened to disrupt the budding connection. Upon seeing John and Emma together, Lily's eyes narrowed with a devious glint. Fueled by jealousy and resentment, she couldn't resist the urge to sow seeds of doubt and discord. In a calculated move, she approached them, her tone carrying a venomous edge. Well, look who we have here, Lily sneered, eyeing Emma with disdain. John, dear, are you playing the saviour to this poor homeless girl now? What a noble act! Emma, taken aback by the sudden hostility, exchanged puzzled glances with John. Lily's attempt to tarnish the authenticity of their connection was clear, as she continued her malicious insinuations. You know, John, I heard she's just using you to escape her poverty. Lily continued, a sly smile playing on her lips. She's luring you in with her sub-story, hoping you'll take her out of her destitution. Don't fall for it. John, aware of Lily's manipulative tendencies, felt a surge of frustration. He knew Emma for who she truly was, a genuine friend from his past, not someone seeking financial gain. Determined to defend their bond, he responded firmly, Lily, your assumptions are baseless. Emma and I share a real connection from our childhood. I won't let your misguided judgments affect that. Emma, though hurt by Lily's words, stood tall, refusing to let the false accusations weaken the bond she and John were rebuilding. As they walked away from Lily's toxic presence, John reassured Emma. Don't pay any attention to her. Our connection is genuine, and I won't let anyone tarnish that with false accusations. In the face of adversity, John and Emma's friendship grew stronger, fueled by their shared history and a commitment to rise above the petty attempts to sow discord. Lily's attempt to disrupt their bond ultimately failed, as John and Emma chose to focus on the authenticity of their connection, rather than succumb to the bitterness of the past. John and Emma spent more and more time together, rekindling their friendship and exploring the possibility of something deeper. They found solace in each other's company, rediscovering the unique understanding and support they had always provided one another. As they delved into conversations about their dreams, fears, and aspirations, John and Emma began to see each other in a new light. They admired each other's growth and resilience, and their shared experiences allowed them to understand one another on a level that no one else could. Small gestures and moments of vulnerability became the building blocks of their love. John would surprise Emma with her favourite coffee, just the way she liked it, and Emma would listen attentively as John poured his heart out about his insecurities and dreams. They found comfort in each other's presence, feeling safe and understood in ways they had never experienced before. With each passing day, John and Emma's bond deepened. They were drawn to each other's strengths and supported one another through their weaknesses. They celebrated each other's victories and provided unwavering encouragement during moments of doubt. Their connection was rooted in a foundation of trust, respect, and a shared history that had shaped them into the people they had become. While navigating the complexities of Emma's situation, John found himself drawn to her resilience and the grace with which she faced life's challenges. He admired her unwavering spirit and the way she never let adversity define her. Emma, on the other hand, began to see in John not just a childhood friend or a benevolent benefactor, but a kindred spirit who saw beyond the surface. One evening, as they discussed plans for future initiatives to help the homeless community, their eyes lingered a moment longer than usual, sparking an unspoken acknowledgement of a deeper connection. It was as if the shared purpose had paved the way for an emotional intimacy that neither had anticipated. John, typically reserved about matters of the heart, found himself genuinely caring for Emma's well-being beyond the scope of their mission. He admired her tenacity and the way she faced each challenge head-on, and he began to realize that his feelings for her were evolving into something deeper. Emma, too, discovered a newfound warmth in John's company. His unwavering support, the way he listened to her, and the shared laughter created a bond that went beyond the realms of friendship. As she saw the kindness in his actions and the sincerity in his gaze, Emma's heart began to flutter with a realization that went beyond gratitude. John, looking into her eyes, confessed,
"Emma, these days have been transformative for both of us. I find myself drawn to you in ways I hadn't expected. Your strength, your resilience, they inspire me."
Emma, her heart echoing the sentiments, responded with a gentle smile. "John, I feel it too. There's a connection here that goes beyond friendship. It's as if we found something special in the midst of all this." John and Emma's reunion was a testament to the power of second chances and the enduring nature of true love. They were grateful for the opportunity to rediscover one another and embark on this new chapter of their lives. With open hearts and a deep understanding of one another, they embraced the love that had always been there, patiently waiting to be reignited. Soon enough, they decided to get married. John's decision to marry Emma came as an unexpected revelation for his mother, a woman who had long been nudging him towards the path of matrimony. As John took a deep breath and declared his intention to marry Emma, the air in the room seemed to be still, and a surprised expression etched itself across his mother's face. "Emma? Really, John?" she responded with a mixture of surprise and bewilderment. She had envisioned potential matches from the city's elite, daughters of affluent families who could seamlessly fit into their high society lifestyle. The prospect of John marrying someone from his past, from their small hometown of Williston, was a twist she hadn't anticipated. John, perceiving the shock on his mother's face, offered a reassuring smile.
"Yes, Mum. Emma and I share a deep connection. We've known each other since childhood, and I can't imagine a better partner."
His mother, trying to process the unexpected turn of events, stammered, But John, I had different prospects in mind. Emma is a lovely girl, but we had other plans, didn't we?" John, understanding his mother's concern, explained.
"Mum, I appreciate your intentions, but love is more than social status or wealth. Emma and I have a history, a bond that goes beyond all that. I want a marriage built on genuine connection, not just societal expectations."
His mother, caught off guard yet sensing the sincerity in John's words, sighed and nodded. "I just want what's best for you, John. If Emma makes you happy, then I suppose that's what matters most." As the news of John's unexpected choice settled in, his mother gradually began to accept the idea of Emma becoming a part of their family. The initial surprise evolved into a genuine curiosity about the woman who had captured John's heart. Over time, as John and Emma's wedding plans unfolded, his mother learned to appreciate the authenticity and depth of their connection, understanding that true happiness often resides in the unexpected turns life takes. John's dedication to helping others did not stop after assisting Emma. He recognized that his friend James was also facing financial difficulties and was determined to lend a hand. John used his influence and resources to help James navigate his financial challenges, providing guidance and support every step of the way. Together, John and James brainstormed ideas to overcome James's financial hurdles. They explored various options such as budgeting, debt management, and exploring additional sources of income. John shared his own experiences and knowledge, offering valuable insights and practical advice to help James regain stability. But John's assistance didn't stop there. He saw an opportunity to make a broader impact and address the issue of homelessness in their community. With James's passion for helping those in need, they decided to establish a foundation dedicated to supporting the homeless.
John utilised his connections and resources to gather like-minded individuals who shared their vision. They formed a team of professionals, including social workers, financial advisors, and community organisers, to develop a comprehensive plan of the foundation. John's influence and expertise in business and finance proved invaluable in setting up the necessary infrastructure and ensuring the foundation's long-term sustainability. Word of James's efforts spread, attracting the attention of local organisations and compassionate individuals. Despite his reluctance to be in the spotlight, James found himself inadvertently becoming a beacon of kindness in the city that often turned a blind eye to its marginalised residents. His words, once confined to the pages of his notebooks, now resonated through the city's alleys, reminding everyone that empathy, compassion, and the written word had a power to bridge the gaps between the haves and the have-nots. Through their joint efforts, the Foundation began implementing various programs and services to address the needs of the homeless population. They provided temporary shelter, access to healthcare, job training, and educational opportunities. John's business acumen helped establish partnerships with local businesses, creating employment opportunities for the homeless and fostering community support for their cause. As the foundation grew, John and James became advocates for raising awareness about homelessness and challenging societal stigmas. They organised events, fundraisers, and awareness campaigns to engage the community and encourage empathy and understanding. John's ability to communicate effectively and inspire others played a crucial role in gaining support and mobilising resources. The Foundation's impact was significant, transforming the lives of countless individuals experiencing homelessness. John's unwavering commitment to helping James and their shared passion for making a difference created a ripple effect in their community. Their efforts not only provided immediate assistance, but also fostered long-term change by addressing the root causes of homelessness and advocating the systematic improvements. James, the poor writer with a rich heart, proved that sometimes the most profound stories are not found in the grandeur of wealth, but in the simplicity of human connection and the warmth of a shared moment. Undeterred by the failed attempts to rekindle her relationship with John, Lily, with a mischievous glint in her eye, set her sights on a new target, James. James, a free-spirited soul immersed in his poetry journey, had recently become popular in the city's creative circles. One day Lily spotted James at a local poetry slam, captivating the audience with his words. Seeing an opportunity, she approached him with a flirtatious smile. "James, isn't it? I've heard your poetry is truly something," she said, attempting to strike up a conversation. James, a connoisseur of wit and irony, couldn't help but sense Lily's ulterior motives. With a playful twinkle in his eye, he responded, Lily, isn't it? I've heard you have a talent for drama. Are you here to add a poetic touch to my life?" Lily, undeterred by his sarcasm, attempted to charm James with her calculated sweetness. "Well, James, I can't help but be drawn to your creativity. Maybe we could collaborate on something beautiful." James, however, remained steadfast in his commitment to his art and his aversion to romantic entanglements. "Lily, my heart is currently on an expedition through the realms of poetry. Love is a detour I'm not willing to take at the moment," he declared, with a theatrical flair, earning a few chuckles from the surrounding poets. Undeterred, Lily continued her pursuit, offering a mix of compliments and exaggerated gestures. "James, I heard the poets make the best lovers. Imagine the beautiful verses we could write together." Unfazed by Lily's advances, James responded with a poetic quip. Lily, love is a complicated sonnet. I'm currently enjoying the simplicity of haikus." As Lily persisted in her attempts to woo the poetic soul, their interactions became a source of comic relief in the city's artistic circles. James, with his witty repartees, unintentionally turned Lily's advances into a whimsical performance, leaving the creative community amused by the unfolding drama. In the end, James remained steadfast in his pursuit of poetic exploration, and Lily, despite her best efforts, found herself entangled in a poetic farce rather than a romantic escapade. Their encounters became a light-hearted subplot in the city's creative tapestry, adding a touch of humour to the intertwining threads of love, art, and the whimsical pursuit of connection. As the trio of James, Emma, and John forged an unlikely friendship, their shared experiences became a catalyst for positive change. John, the successful businessman, found himself moved by the struggles of the homeless, prompting him to direct his resources towards initiatives aimed at providing sustainable support. One day, as they gathered to discuss their newfound mission, John spoke passionately about his commitment to making a difference.
"We have the means to create change, to offer a helping hand to those who need it the most," he declared. "Let's turn our shared experiences into something impactful."
James, the poetic soul, added, "Our stories may be different, but they weave together in the tapestry of life. Let's use our voices to bridge the gap and illuminate the shared humanity that connects us all." Emma, who had faced the challenges of homelessness firsthand, expressed her gratitude. It's heartening to see kindness and understanding in action. Together we can make a difference in the lives of those who go unnoticed. Their collaboration extended beyond conversations as they actively engaged with local initiatives, shelters, and community programs. John's financial backing, James' eloquence, and Emma's first-hand insights created a powerful synergy that began to reshape the lives of those struggling on the streets. During a meeting with a local shelter, John articulated their shared vision, saying,
"Let's not merely provide temporary relief. Instead, let's build bridges to long-term solutions, empowering individuals to regain control of their lives."
James, inspired by the resilience of those they met, added,
"In every face there's a story waiting to be heard. Our collective effort can amplify these voices and break down the barriers that divide us."
Emma, reflecting on her journey, spoke with conviction. It's not just about charity, it's about dignity, understanding, and creating opportunities. Together we're sowing seeds of change that will grow into something beautiful. Through their unique friendship and collaborative efforts, John, Emma, and James demonstrated that empathy in action could transcend societal divides. Their story became a testament to the transformative power of unexpected alliances, illustrating that shared purpose and genuine connections could illuminate pathways to positive change in the most unlikely places. One day, as Emma was carrying out her work for the foundation dedicated to helping the homeless, she spotted Mrs. Harrington sitting alone on a park bench, worn and dishevelled. The recognition between them was immediate, and Emma, though still harbouring the pain of betrayal, felt a pang of empathy for the woman who had once been her superior. Approaching Mrs. Harrington cautiously, Emma spoke with a mixture of concern and compassion. "Mrs. Harrington, is that you? What happened? How did you end up here?" Mrs. Harrington, initially taken aback by Emma's presence, looked up with a mix of shame and resignation. "Emma, I never thought I'd see you again. Life took an unexpected turn and I ended up on the streets. It's a long story." After losing her job, Mrs. Harrington found herself in the harsh reality of homelessness. The once respected professional was now left without a home, navigating the unforgiving streets with a sense of desperation. Emma, despite the betrayal she had experienced, couldn't turn a blind eye to Mrs. Harrington's plight. Emma, aware of the complexities and ironies of life, replied, "No one deserves to be homeless. I have a foundation for the homeless, and we can help you find shelter and support. Let's get you back on your feet." Despite the betrayal Emma had experienced, she chose to prioritize empathy over resentment. Through the foundation, Emma arranged for Mrs. Harrington to access temporary shelter, meals, and support services. As they navigated the process together, Emma couldn't help but acknowledge the inherent irony of the situation. In a moment of reflection, Mrs. Harrington spoke with a mix of gratitude and remorse. "Emma, I never thought I'd be on the receiving end of this kind of help. I'm sorry for everything. I never meant for it to come to this." Emma, demonstrating a strength of character that went beyond personal grievances, responded, "Life has a way of teaching us unexpected lessons. Let's focus on getting you the help you need right now." Amid the turmoil in Mrs. Harrington's life, an additional layer of heartbreak emerged.
Her husband had left her for another woman. This revelation intensified the sense of betrayal in an already tumultuous situation. As Mrs. Harrington navigated the challenges of homelessness, the wounds from her broken marriage were still fresh. Emma, despite the complexities of their past, found herself caught in a web of empathy for the woman who had once been a commanding figure in the professional realm. One day, as they sat in a shelter, Mrs. Harrington confided in Emma about the recent upheaval in her personal life. The pain was evident in her eyes as she spoke. "Emma, I not only lost my job, but also my husband. He left me for another woman. After all these years, he decided to abandon me during this chaos." Emma, listening with a mix of sympathy and sadness, replied, "I can't imagine the pain you're going through. Life has dealt you an incredibly challenging hand, but remember you're not alone. We'll find a way to navigate through this together." Mrs. Harrington, grappling with the layers of betrayal, continued, "I never saw it coming. Everything fell apart so quickly. I don't know where to go from here." Emma, offering a steadying presence, spoke with a reassuring tone. "Sometimes life takes unexpected turns, and it's okay not to have all the answers right now. We'll take it one step at a time, and I'll be here to support you." As the foundation worked to provide Mrs. Harrington with the necessary resources to rebuild her life, a complex tapestry of emotions unfolded. The encounter became a testament to Emma's capacity for forgiveness and her unwavering commitment to helping those in need, even when faced with the complexities of a past betrayal. The journey toward redemption and recovery had begun, with Emma extending a hand to someone who, despite the betrayals of the past, was now in dire need of compassion and support. Well, now the event that everyone was anticipating was nearing, and soon the wedding preparations were underway. The air buzzed with excitement and anticipation. John and Emma, deeply in love and committed to building a life together, were immersed in the joyous chaos of planning their special day. The venue was adorned with flowers, and laughter echoed through the halls as family and friends gathered to celebrate the union. However, amidst the festivities, a storm was brewing in the form of Amber, John's younger sister. Amber harboured resentment towards Emma, considering her to be an unworthy match for her brother. In her eyes, Emma was a nobody, someone who didn't belong in the elevated circles of their affluent family. As the wedding day approached, Amber's disdain became increasingly apparent. During family gatherings and wedding planning meetings, she would make snide remarks about Emma, casting a dark shadow over the joyous proceedings. Emma, unaware of Amber's feelings, remained focused on the love she shared with John and the celebration they were about to embark upon. The tension reached its peak on the eve of the wedding. Amber, fueled by her resentment, hatched a plan to sabotage the celebration. With a sinister glint in her eye, she approached Emma, feigning concern. "You know, Emma, marrying into our family is a significant step. Are you sure you're up for it? I mean, you're not exactly one of us," she sneered. Emma, taken aback by the sudden hostility, responded with genuine confusion. "Amber, I love your brother, and I thought we were all happy about this wedding. What is going on?" Amber, unfazed, continued her attempt to sow discord. "I just don't want to see John making a mistake. You're not from our world, Emma. The wedding will only bring disgrace to our family name." Emma, hurt by the venomous words, tried to maintain her composure. "I may not come from the same background, but John and I love each other. Isn't that what matters?" The night took an unexpected turn as Amber, desperate to exert control, attempted to create chaos during the wedding ceremony. As Emma walked down the aisle, Amber whispered loudly to those around her, "Do we want someone like her in our family?" John, catching wind of the disruption, approached his sister with a stern expression.
"Amber, this is our wedding day. I won't tolerate any attempts to ruin it. Emma is the love of my life, and she is here to stay. You need to accept that."
The confrontation between brother and sister unfolded during the celebration, casting a momentary shadow over the joyous occasion. Despite Amber's attempts to derail the wedding, John and Emma's love prevailed and they exchanged vows surrounded by those who generally supported their union. Among the attendees was James, a witness to the blossoming romance between her and John. James, now a successful poet, had remained a steadfast supporter of Emma's journey and a source of inspiration throughout the years. Dressed in his finest attire, James observed the ceremony with a genuine smile. Seeing Emma, radiant in her wedding gown, walking down the aisle filled his heart with joy. As she approached John, the happiness emanating from the couple became palpable, and James couldn't help but feel a sense of pride for his dear friend. During a quiet moment before the ceremony, James approached Emma with a warm embrace.
"Emma, you look absolutely stunning. I can't express how happy I am for you," he said, his eyes reflecting the sincerity of his words.
Emma, grateful for James's presence, replied, "Thank you, James. Your support means the world to me. I'm so glad you're here to share this moment." As the ceremony unfolded, James found himself captivated by the genuine love between Emma and John. Witnessing their vows and the exchange of rings, he felt a surge of emotion. When the officiant finally declared them as a married couple, James couldn't contain his happiness. With a beaming smile, he turned to a fellow guest and exclaimed,
"Isn't this just magical? Seeing them so in love makes my heart soar."
During the reception, James took a moment to express his joy to John.
"John, my friend, you've found an incredible partner in Emma. Your love story is like poetry in motion. I couldn't be happier for both of you. Here's to a lifetime of happiness and beautiful moments together."
John, appreciating James's sentiments, replied,
"Thanks, James. Your friendship has been a constant in Emma's life, and it means a lot to both of us that you're here to share in our joy."
On Emma's wedding night, a heartwarming surprise unfolded as John orchestrated a reunion with her long-lost aunt and uncle. Aware of Emma's deep connection with her family, John had spent days searching for them in Williston, determined to make their presence at the wedding a reality. As Emma revelled in the joy of her special day, she was unaware of the meticulous planning that had taken place behind the scenes. John, recognizing the significance of family in Emma's life, had spared no effort to locate her aunt and uncle, who'd been out of touch for years. During the wedding reception, as Emma and John danced under the twinkling lights, a familiar voice joined in the celebration. Emma turned in surprise, and there, standing before her, were her aunt and uncle, tears of joy in their eyes. John, with a smile that conveyed both accomplishment and love, said,
"Emma, I wanted to make this day even more special for you. Your aunt and uncle are here to share in our joy. I hope this reunion brings the happiness you deserve."
Emma, overwhelmed with emotion, embraced her aunt and uncle tightly. "I can't believe you're here. This is the best surprise ever," she exclaimed. Her aunt, wiping away tears of joy, responded, "We can't miss this moment, my dear. John went to great lengths to find us and make this reunion happen. We're so happy for you."
Uncle chimed in, "Congratulations, Emma. John is a remarkable man, and it's evident that he cares deeply for you."
As the night continued, Emma, John, and her reunited family shared stories and laughter and danced in celebration of love and reunion. John's thoughtful gesture had not only brought joy to Emma, but had also bridged a gap that had existed for too long. Amidst the laughter and tears of reunion, Emma's aunt took a moment to address the emotional gravity of the reunion. "Emma, we're so sorry for everything you've been through. It breaks our hearts to see you face such challenges, and we deeply regret not being there for you when you needed us the most. Please forgive us." Uncle, sharing in the sentiment, added,
"Life took unexpected turns for us and we lost touch. But that doesn't excuse our absence during your difficult times. We are truly sorry, Emma."
Emma, with a mixture of gratitude and understanding, responded, "I appreciate your honesty, and I'm just grateful you're here now. This is a day of joy, and having you both by my side means the world to me." John, who had orchestrated this emotional reunion, interjected,
"We've turned a new page today, and the love we share is what matters most. Let's focus on the happiness of this moment and the bright future ahead."
The surprise reunion became a highlight of the wedding, a testament to the power of love, perseverance, and the importance of family connections. The shared moments and exchanged words were not just a part of the celebration, but marked the beginning of a new chapter where love and family triumphed over the distances and obstacles that had kept them apart for too long. As the evening unfolded with laughter, dance, and celebration, James remained a beacon of positivity. His presence served as a reminder of the enduring connections that had woven through the fabric of their lives. In the festivities, James found solace in witnessing the unions of two souls he held dear, and his heartfelt congratulations resonated with the genuine happiness that surrounded Emma and John on their special day. As they sealed their commitment with a kiss, the resilience of their love became the beacon that dispelled the temporary darkness Amber had sought to cast. The journey that began with James's act of kindness and Emma's chance encounter with Mr. Thompson had evolved into a transformative experience for all involved. It not only bridged the socio-economic gaps between them, but also highlighted the power of empathy, understanding, and collective action. Through their shared commitment to compassion and shared humanity, they paved the way for positive change and became beacons of hope for others facing adversity.